Welcome back to Bible and Blues. We are doing chapter 9 of Rooms right now. It's been a little bit since I've done one of these. I'm going to get this taken care of because you know what? I'm Saturday afternoon and I want to relax a little bit. What's a better way to relax? We're expecting, I got some warnings about a winter storm potential here. And I think there might be some wet snow falling. I'm not positive. So, yeah, that's stuff falling from the sky. I'm not sure if it's snow yet or not, but at least it's definitely raining at least, and it's been chilly. So here we are in the beginning of March in the Northwest, and we're finally getting some winter weather. Had some last week and the week before. Just kind of strange how it's happening right now. I've seen it before. I've seen snow around here in April. That's really rare, but I've seen it. So, not saying it never happens. I think this is mostly rain though today, right now. It's not supposed to snow until about, till like 10 o'clock tonight. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, we're reading Rooms chapter 9. This was, I just kind of read the first couple of paragraphs as I was getting ready to go, and Micah is back in Seattle, and he is dealing with a very upset Julie. So, chapter 9. Monday morning, Julie walked into Micah's office, looking like a tiger that hadn't eaten in a week. Her countenance said a clear message. He was dinner. "Hey, how are you?" Julie didn't answer. Micah pulled away from his computer and leaned back in his leather chair. She stared at him, her lips pressed together so hard they were white. "I'm sorry." He stood up and hopped over to her. "I've blown it. I've been distant. Blah, 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 okay?" He flashed a smile. "Not funny. This is serious, Micah." "I know, really. I've been emotionally absent these past few weeks, and I'm sorry." He ran his fingers down her arms and slid them into her palms. "A few weeks? Try 6. Julie yanked her hands out of Micah's grasp. "What is going on with you? You're my business partner, and you're my soulmate, I thought. Both of those relationships require spending time together and talking to each other. And I need an answer about our future, one way or another." "We have been talking." He rubbed the back of his neck and walked toward the wet bar at the back of his office to pour a Diet Coke. "Email is not talking. We haven't had a conversation since our abbreviated dinner last week. Are you going to explain what's going on with you? I need the answer now. Is our romance on hold? Because that's the message coming across the line clear and sonic boom loud." "No, of course not. I don't want to lose us. I'm just trying to what, Micah? Break up gently? It's hard to explain." He walked to his windows, turned, and scuffed back to his desk. "We're not on hold, really, but things are going on inside of me." "What things? Tell me." What could he tell her? He hated Cannon Beach because it's where his mom died? Sorry, no one knew that. But he was also weirdly attracted to Archie's house because it felt so familiar and even peaceful. That part of him would refuse to ever face his past. But maybe a part of him was willing. Tell her the man who was always in control and knew exactly what he wanted didn't know anymore? "I can't, Julie. Not yet, but I will. Trust me, please." He touched the tips of his fingers to the tips of hers. And this time she didn't pull away. "You have to be done very, very soon, okay?" She nestled in his arms, and he held her tight. A few minutes later, Micah sighed as he walked her back into the hall. He'd be done with Cannon Beach soon. He just needed a little bit longer. Yeah, as if all he needed was more time. He didn't leave for the beach till Thursday night at 9 for work-related reasons, but in reality there were flimsy excuses to delay arriving at a house that both drew and repelled him. "No more rooms, Archie, please." Friday morning he dropped in on Rick. Devin was out front wiping his palms on a rag dirtier than his hands. "Anyone in the old guy's office?" "Nah, good timing," Devin said. "Head on back." Micah opened Rick's door and found him sitting in an ancient leather chair, head down. Indistinct mumbling came from his mouth. The sound was passionate. When Rick looked up, tears were in his eyes. "Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your It's called prayer, Micah." A sigh and a laugh slipped from Rick's mouth. "You're a full-blown Christian? You're kidding me." The instant the word slipped out, he regretted it. He'd known Rick was a Christian from the moment he met him. It burst out of him like a geyser. What a crock, of course you are, I see it all over you. How are you, pal? Rick stood, grinned, and smacked his open palm to Micah's. Feels like it's been a year. Me too. He'd seen the man 5 days ago, but it seemed like 5 weeks. He had a connection with Rick missing from almost all his other relationships. Not true, missing from all his other relationships. His other friendships were roles, acts he and they put on to cover up the truth. They raced together on a treadmill with no finish line, too busy to really know the person running beside them. It was that way with his board of directors, his employees, the friends he still saw, even Julie. Everyone acted out his or her part in the play, recited his required lines, none of them knowing who the other was and when the lines were gone. But with Rick, there was no lines to recite, no mask to put on, because Rick never wore one, or did he? Something about the man didn't compute. Something was just off. Everyone was flawed, had faults, blind spots, whatever you really wanted to call them, but not Rick. No cracks in his veneer. He was kind, strong, wise. He had a good sense of humor. It scared Micah. He could always tell the TV evangelist who had put the secret perverted life going on underneath because of the perfect hair. Rick's hair wasn't, but everything else about him was. Warning, warning, danger, Will Robinson. Micah forced himself to let it go. The man who was one of the greatest friends he'd ever had, and he barely knew him. Innocent until proven guilty. You pray a lot? Micah said. Jesus says the Holy Spirit will guide his followers, and his followers will hear his voice. So I'm stocking up on wisdom. Yeah. Hope you get a huge store of it. What about you? Nah, not me. You knew his voice once, but your ears are filled up with other things. You just need to start listening again. Relax, Rick. Maybe my faith's cooled a little over the past few years, but I still believe God exists. Micah flopped down on a wicker chair that screeched in protest. There's a lot more to life than reading your Bible and going to church. Worlds out there begging to be conquered. I've just shifted my priorities around a little. Rick stared at him. Hey, if you think life is about other things, I'd love to hear it. Really? The corners of Rick's mouth turned up. Really, really? Rick leaned forward, his eyes bright. Jesus came to bring life. Full life. Make people whole. To bring the chains wrapped around people's hearts and set them free. It's not about rules and regulations. That's religion. It's about freedom and friendship. Rick leaned back in his chair. How free are you, Micah? Micah swallowed. Life is different now. That's my dog. Life is different now. He sat up and patted his knees. That was so long ago. Oh, no, son. It was just a moment ago. Micah looked out the window and searched for a response. There was none. Break the chains around his heart? He wasn't even sure his heart still existed. When he got home, he threw on a pair of sweats and went for a long walk on the beach. At the end of the walk, he sat down on a log with deep scars caused by long ocean winters and closed his eyes. God, what are you doing to me? I thought we understood each other. You keep your distance, I'll keep mine. Why can't you let the past stay buried 50 feet under where it belongs? You're setting me up. Rick is setting me up. Archie is setting up. What do you want from me? What does that house want from me? I have a life, one I love. He stopped. What was the point in lying to God? Fine. Maybe Seattle isn't perfect. Maybe I've lost part of my heart. And maybe you've got something going on down here that will help me, but I don't think I want it. I know I don't want it. Enough introspection. He stood and jogged back to the house. Tomorrow he'd wander into the town, meet a few normal people, have a few ordinary conversations. At least that was the plan. So that was chapter 9. That's we're getting deep. I mean, no new rooms. Okay, so all right. Not much to do with the house itself, but boy, that's an interesting conversation with Rick. We all need that mentor that like Rick is to Micah. Rick seems to understand it, seems to have it together. And I'm personally, I'm really happy that Micah has a friend like Rick that's, honest with him. And Rick just waited. He did his thing. He did his thing until Micah asked the questions. You know, and then when Micah asked, he said, "Really? Are you sure? Okay, here you go. Here's what I'm talking about." So that was really big. That was a really big moment for the story, I think. And Micah's starting to talk to God a little bit, and none of us start off where Rick is. I mean, even the newly saved, Rick is at a point of maturity in his faith that you don't hit that right away. So that was a cool thing to see that happening, and that's great that somebody like Rick can mentor somebody like Micah. Do you have somebody like that in your life? Do you have a mentor that you follow, that you talk to, and helps to guide you through your faith? I've had that from time to time in my life, but I don't currently have that, and I kind of miss that, where you have somebody that you can sit down with and talk. Now, I do have people. I have one particular guy at work that I sit down and we talk. We have similar political views, and and we're both Christian, and we have certain level of similar views in it. He is more educated in the faith than I am. So I do listen to him about a lot of things. He's actually a couple of years younger than me. So be it. That has no bearing on it. If somebody who is 25 years old has studied more and has it more together than you do as far as your faith is concerned, and you're 40 or 50, swallow your pride a little bit and listen to the guy, because I mean, ultimately, when we leave this world and we go to heaven, I think one of the best ways I've ever heard described is, what are you going to do for your next trillion years? This is such a short period of time. That age difference between a 25-year-old and a 40-year-old seems like a gulf to us now, but is such a fractional piece of time compared to eternity. And so, there's that. Okay, so anyway, that was chapter 9. What did you think? Give me your impression. See what kind of questions you have. I'd love to hear what you have. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, I have morning Bible readings, devotions. I've been doing some television reviews as well that have been some pretty good hits. We just finished doing Emerald City, the season finale, and posted that. And so, check that out. So anyway, God bless. Have a great day.